Welcome to Salute to the Ears, where my family and I discuss everything Disney, from parks, food, and rides to travel tips, movies, and more. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Salute to the Ears. I am your host, Jeremy Simon.
And I'm Erica.
Back with me this time. Last time it was Brooklyn.
But That was partly because I wasn't feeling real great.
Yeah, and it's been a little bit. We've had a bit of life.
Oh, man. I feel like it just never stopped. I mean, two teenagers, it's busy in general, but there's just been a lot, especially in the last 2-3 weeks.
Right. It has. It's been crazy. Lots of kind of ups and downs and everything these last couple weeks. But the last few days, us and I guess the rest of the U.S. have been having fun dreaming about winning Powerball.
Powerball jackpot got up yesterday to over $2 billion. And I mean, it just blows my mind, first of all, that you could even have a jackpot that large. Like the payout jackpot was
like 900 million or something.
It was like almost $1 billion,
right,
just if you took the cash. And I'm like, that's insane. But we do this anytime it gets bigger, where we're like, what would you do? What would we go get? What would we do? And almost always one of our very first top things is we're like, oh, there's our DVC.
Right. We would definitely buy into DVC, so we'd always have those points to go stay at a resort, whether we're living down there or not. I think we would still have that, so we could go.
But Jeremy brought up the other day, like, what if we do an episode that's talking about what would we do?
Right.
Like, if we won, like, what would we use it for? Now, of course, when this episode airs, like, as we're recording and then when we post it, like, somebody did win.
Right.
So
Today.
No. Well, technically last night. But the drawing was like delayed into the wee hours of the morning, and they didn't announce it until this morning. But somebody in Cali won, and actually several other people won either $1 million prizes or the like $50,000, $100,000 prizes. So quite a few people won something out of it.
Nobody in Kansas.
Few in Missouri though.
Yeah, but what we said, like, first of all, understand that, like, what most of that would go to, what first things we'd be doing are charitable things.
Oh, yeah.
Like helping people out, doing stuff for our church.
Organizations that we love.
Right.
Funding adoptions,
right,
cancer research, like.
Right. So this is the fun part of, like, what would your ultimate Disney trip be?
Yeah.
So we both been kind of brainstorming, coming up with ideas, and I've even reached out to a couple people, and we'll share those ones at the end of what they would do, because I thought it'd be kind of fun to some of the people we interact with on social media to maybe kind of get some of their ideas. Yeah. Right?
I want to hear what you would do, because I feel like a lot of things that I'm going to say we've talked about.
Right.
Like, even if we haven't talked about it on here, we've talked about it. So I'm very curious what you're going to say, because I feel like I should take that back. I've talked about it a lot.
Right.
I don't know that we've talked about, like, that you've expressed all the ways that you would want to indulge in that. But
so there's a lot of different ways I thought about going on this. First of all is, had you thought of hitting up all the parks? Like, grabbing you guys, just hopping on a plane, kind of doing that big thing that Disney was putting out where it's like $100,000 a person. You go and you're hitting all the different resorts around the world.
You mean around the world?
Right. Not just U.S., around the world. My dream park, like the park on top of my bucket list right now, is Tokyo.
Yeah.
Right?
I could do Tokyo.
I can do Tokyo. Hong Kong, it sounds like they're not opening up anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
They said it's not feasible. They said that today. It's not feasible to open it up. So that automatically takes that one out. A good chunk of Tokyo's under construction.
Right.
It's going to be too hard to get in and out of Shanghai right now. I don't want to get locked in that park like they were doing last week, where you had to prove you were negative and before you could leave. So that one's that whole scenario is kind of out the window for me. Okay. Right? So I'm going to go, I'm still going to kind of combine 2 parks. Okay? And it's going to be Disney World and Aulani. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
We're going to take our time down in Disney World like 3 weeks. Okay? Maybe 2.5. 2.5, 3 weeks down in Disney World. Like Aulani as well?
No.
Okay. But
I think that's where I'm like gonna like we've talked about the whole thing of like when we go, like our just anyway, our dream vacation of going is just to be able to go and spend like 3 weeks and just be able to be like, oh, you want to go in the park and ride these 2 things and then leave and go do something else and like and not have to think about
right.
Like, well, we got to get all this in this day because this is the only time we're gonna be here.
And it's going to be split stayed down there. I want to hit the bucket list rooms for us down there.
Okay, so what top 2 on there? What are
top 2 would probably be the like big fancy cabins over at Wilderness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you've definitely got that on the brain though too because we just watched Paging Mr. Morrow's video on staying in the cabins.
Right.
What are they? Cascade cabins?
I think that's what they're called. They're the Copper Creek cabins, the Cascade cabins. They're fantastic. They're like a little like.
I could live there.
I could live there. I could honestly live there, especially like once the kids are out of the house.
It's just us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can watch the fireworks from a hot tub and watch the monorail go by at the same time.
Yeah. No.
I mean, you can also throw a friendship boat in there.
Yeah. I figured that was going to be one of them. What's the other one?
So probably the bungalows over at Poly.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I figured Poly would be high on that list, but
there's plenty of other ones that would be on this list.
Right.
But I also know that it's probably going to be going into your lane some, so I didn't choose that. But I want to just like be able to like completely relax and enjoy like the pools, the resorts, just relax, you know?
Yeah.
And while we're down there, it's having like parts of our family or friends and stuff, being able to bring them down so that they can enjoy it as well. Maybe not for like, we're not going to bring a whole nother family or all our friends down there and like that whole 3 weeks, because that might be a lot for somebody, especially if they got to go back to work. So maybe like a week at a time, like a different group.
I gotta say, if we were to win almost $1 billion
we'd be taking care of some people.
We'd be taking care of some people. That's for dang sure.
But no, just the thought of both of those, being able to like sit out on the deck and overlook the water and still being able to see the fireworks.
Yeah.
Your close proximity to Magic Kingdom or hopping on the monorail, you know, it's easy access, good food at both. Easy access to other places for food. That's the other thing about staying down there. Like when we go down for a week, like we're really having to pick where we're eating at.
Yeah,
you know?
we do.
We always end up leaving places out that we want to eat at.
Yeah.
This would give us plenty of time to really knock out the vast majority of the places we want to eat at. Sometimes even double up. You know?
Yeah.
We wouldn't feel so rushed getting through it. Okay? But even if we did feel rushed and we're like, oh, this was so exhausting, well, then we're going to head over to Aulani, which the only thing you're doing in Aulani is resting.
Yeah.
You don't got the...
I mean, there's still stuff to do. I mean, and there's still...
There is, but it's not like the...
being in the water and whale watching and depending on the time of year and like... There's stuff to do around. There's stuff to do on the island. And
right. But it seems like... It doesn't seem quite so hectic and chaotic as staying at a resort that's connected to the parks.
No, absolutely not. I mean, that's the thing is that I think that's the key for me is that I just want time.
Right. Yeah. And I don't want to feel rushed.
I want time and space to just enjoy it and not feel pressured.
Right. And with staying down there for 3 weeks, if we wanted to go over and do something somewhere else, we could. It's not that big of a deal. Like, we've tried doing that when we've gone down for a week, trying to hit Universal and SeaWorld and all these, and it's insane.
And by the time you get back when our kids couldn't ride everything or didn't want to, you know, I mean, like we weren't necessarily even trying to do everything because we couldn't.
Right.
Like,
you're just exhausted when you get done.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely time and space is my biggest thing. Is there anything else like big that you would do in that? Like,
as far as like the trip wise, for us, I mean, like VIP tours and that kind of stuff would be great, but at the same time, then like there's a lot of times now where it's VIP tours are great, but at the same time, I get uncomfortable. I'd be uncomfortable cutting.
If you have the money to spend it, and you're like, I want to be able to have a day,
right?
That like we just get to do what we want. Like, yeah, do it.
Right. But if I'm spending that much time down there, I'm going to get to do what I want to do. I think some of the like behind the scene tours, like.
I would definitely want to do some of the like ones, just the different tours that we haven't gotten to do, and like some of the other excursion things that are there that we haven't gotten to do. Look, let's go play mini golf. We've gotten passes to go play mini golf every time we go.
Right.
And we never use them. And, you know, like, let's go do the trail ride and do horseback riding. Let's go, you know, like, let's go rent the boats and drive around the lagoon. Like, you know, that kind of fun stuff too. Not just the park stuff, but I have a hard time with the whole like VIP thing in general. Even when you can afford it, we've been the people that are standing in line and like, you should be the next one to go, and lo and behold, here's this VIP and now the line is held up again. And it gets frustrating,
right?
Because you're just like it's one thing for me, like Make-A-Wish kids, that doesn't count. Not in any way, shape, or form. Like anything like that doesn't count.
Right.
But I don't know.
I would feel uncomfortable doing it.
I would definitely. I want to do the train behind the scenes thing. I want to do I want to Animal Kingdom. I want to do like. There's definitely behind the scenes tour things that I would want to see and do. But yeah, no, I want to like knock the socks off some cast members and like, you know, just like be like, hey.
That's what one of our people said. It's doing some stuff for some cast members. I'll get into at the end, but yeah, I definitely want to take care of cast members because one, right now they're not being taken care of nearly as well as they should be. So yeah, I want to be able to go and like make their day somehow. Like, I understand they can't take tips, but man, I'm gonna bust my butt to try and figure out a way to make their days. Servers can. Yeah, some of the other ones can. What was it? Was it the minivans? Did they take tips? I'm trying to remember. Yes. I don't remember.
That's my thing about it.
We would not be ever on a bus.
I don't know that we would ever take. I mean, like, it would have to be that minivans is completely unavailable. I would do the monorail just because I like the monorail.
Yeah. And the boats.
I would do the boats just because I like the boat. Like, not because we would have, but I mean, we would be minivanning it everywhere. Like, that would be, I wouldn't even be thinking about like what the cost would be. I think for me, like, we agree on the time thing. I want the time and the space, and agree on like rooms would be those ones that we couldn't even dream about being able to stay in right now. Cabins at Wilderness, definitely up there. I want to stay at Poly. I definitely though want to stay at Riviera.
Okay. That was another one that was on my list. Like big,
I figured
2 or 3 bedroom.
Yeah. Now here's my thing: getting any of these rooms that have like the kitchen and the multiple rooms and all the things, I would want to hire somebody, even if it's like just hiring somebody locally, like not Disney, but hiring somebody locally to help take care of that. So helping cook, shop, like all of those things, like where, because I mean, we would probably have a car or would have the ability to call a car service or something like that, take us. But like, I don't want to stop and have to go to the grocery store to get stuff to make a meal.
Right.
Or, you know, anything like that. Like, I'd rather pay somebody, you know, and have them as a personal chef or, you know, helping take care of things.
And there are people there, what was that, Ear for Each Other? Is that what we found on Facebook? I've seen a few on there where they're former chefs at some of the different restaurants around there, and they'll come in and cook for you there. Yeah. So
I would want to do something like that just to help alleviate some of the stress of, you know, it's so great that you have that option to like bring stuff in and cook, and like you don't have to go spend all the money and you know, at the restaurants, or like if you have kids who have, you know, certain dietary needs or you eat at odd times or like whatever, it's great to have. But at the same time, like, I want to just be able to go and do. I don't want to have to think about that. It's one of the things I miss the most about the dining plan was the fact that I felt like yes, you had to make a few more decisions, especially like if you wanted table service, you know, and things like that. But like, to some degree, it took something off of our plate of like, we didn't have to think about it. It was just like, nope, we're just going to go eat. We're just going to figure it out. And so I would want somebody like that. I mean, again, we're talking, you know, if you were to have won this $2 million Powerball and walked away, $2 billion, sorry.
That's a B, not an M.
$2 billion Powerball and walked away with, you know, almost $1 billion if you take the cash option. And so, like, you can just do it. I mean, like, first of all, I would be taking the Patrick Mahomes private jet.
Oh yeah, no, we'd be private jetting it. Yeah, no, we would not be like.
There wouldn't even be like.
We wouldn't be going trying to get like checking in with Southwest 24 hours beforehand, hoping that we get in A.
Yeah.
No. Like.
No.
Fearful that if we forget, we're going to be in C.
Now, here's my only thing about that. My only thing about that is I don't like small planes. I do not like small planes. Like, I cannot like stress this enough, which is crazy considering that my dad had his pilot's license and flew small plane. Like, I mean, but I do not like small planes. I suffered through getting on the smallest one I've been on in a very long time to fly from New York to DC to be with you. But that was special circumstances. So I would have a hard time with that. And the only thing I can say is like,
we'll get you a good movie.
Somebody's going to have to give me something to go to sleep or something, because I don't know if I could do it. But I also don't want to deal with KCI right now. So, although we are getting a new airport. So, so my thing would be, I want time and space. And I do. I want the ability to just like bless the socks off of people. So whether that's like, you see the kid that parent like says, no, you can't get that, you know, like it's too expensive, or like you got to pick one, you know, whatever. Like I do that now. Like, you know, I mean, not with like big things, but like little things where, and there was one, it was almost Christmas, and they asked, like, saw a little girl, she wanted this Our Generation doll so bad, was like desperate for this Our Generation doll. And you could tell, like, that was just, it was something that was going to be a stretch and couldn't do it. And I bought it.
Yeah.
And literally, like, stopped them as they were getting in their car and said, can she have this? The look on her face of like, I didn't do it. I just did it because I was like, I just wanted to make her day. Like, I just felt like that was what I was supposed to do. And it was so perfect. And we've seen that before with like people, you know, cast members just making magic, like, you know, making something happen. We've experienced it. There's just something about having the time and space, right? And so in this instance, having the money and space, to be able to bless people, and just in one small way be like, you're okay, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. And so that's for me, that's the biggest part for me about any trip that we think about. Like,
and that'd be so much fun being able to.
I want to stay in these cool places, and I want to do these things, but like, I just want to be able to.
Right. It'd be fun to go around and make magic for people.
Yeah. And And just to be able to like do it so that not because I want recognition.
Right.
That's never like
No.
not because I want somebody to be like, look what they did. Not because I want to record it. Not because I want to share it. Like, just because when you get to have moments in your life where you experience something that almost feels miraculous,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's just like, did that really just happen? Did we really just get to do that? Did that really just, it does something to your spirit that is just so, so good. And I just want, I like, that's been, you know, anytime I think about like anytime we play Powerball or anything like that, you know, or I'm just like, oh, like, okay, God.
Yeah.
Can we have the conversation of like, I don't need a big house. We don't need fancy cars. Like, I'd like to pay ours off, but like,
Right.
you know, like, I'm not talking about like, yes, I'd want to take this vacation, but I'd want to do it in a way that like, we want to take our nieces and nephews all down there.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, we want to be able to have them experience the magic that we've experienced at Disney. So like taking them, I have this vision in my head of Hattie on Main Street, right there behind the front hub, like at the top of Main Street, the parade coming down. Like I can see it, but I need to be able to like zap her down there
Right.
and come home at nap time.
Yeah.
Like, but to have the time and space to do things like that, to be able to be like, hey, we're going down for 2 days, and be like, just me and my sister and like the 2 littles, or just, you know, you and Jay and the boys, and
Right.
you know, or you and John and Jay and the boys, or something, you know, like and taking these kids that like there's just something about getting to do that. And it's not because we want recognition or because we want somebody to thank us or whatever, but like, okay, we can, so we want to.
Right.
Like, yeah, I want to stay in these bucket list rooms, but I don't want to stay there and like I don't want to just like do it to like throw money around. Like, I would still be looking for the deal. I'd still be looking for like, and then, you know, again, how do we bless like a former cast member or somebody, you know, like by employing them?
Right.
How do we help, you know, bless housekeeping and, you know, and taking care of them? And I don't know. It just like, for me, that's a lot of it. I mean, those are the things that mean the most to me about any of our trips. Like, so time and space is just the...
Okay. But where is that time and space at?
Oh, Orlando.
Is it Orlando? Okay.
Mostly Orlando. I would want to go to Paris too.
Yeah.
We had some friends that got to go this summer and had a really fantastic time. And I feel like it's something that we would enjoy if I'm going to one that's not just Orlando. But I also, you know, we're talking about trying to take a trip out to Disneyland in the spring and summer. And like, I would want to do that too.
Right.
But I don't know that I would want to go to Asia.
Yeah, that'd be hard right now, I think.
And I think for me, going to Hawaii again would be another, like, that's another 2-3 week vacation. That's like just all the things.
Yeah, I think if you're
It's
trying to do all the
things.
things in Hawaii, I think it is. But if you're just going to enjoy Aulani and
It's
maybe a
just
couple
such
other things.
a long flight. It is
Not if you're taking a private jet.
It's still a long flight. There's only
Those things
I know.
zip right along.
But they still only go so fast. It's still a long flight, and it's still a...
Not if you're knocked out.
I'm meaning there's a big time difference. It's exhausting. It takes a couple of days to get adjusted. It takes a couple of days, you know, like to get adjusted coming back. Like I can't do it for under a week.
Okay.
So like
So where's your top spot then down at Disney World? Where'd we stay?
Riviera.
Okay.
Because I like the Skyliner.
That's true. Yeah.
I just hop on the Skyliner, go hang out at Epcot.
Or Hollywood.
Yeah.
Nope, that's good.
Yeah, but from Riviera, you can get straight to Epcot. If I want to go to Hollywood, I got to go over.
You got to transfer and do that. But I mean, we're taking minivans around everywhere anyway, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
I do. I would probably just try to get a hold of Boomer, who was one of our minivan drivers this last time, and be like, how can we get you to just like be on standby for us?
Right. Like, when are you working?
When are you working? And can you send us your best, like, or how do we get,
Right.
How do we get the good drivers?
Right. So, we always end our show talking about hitting us up on Twitter and Instagram. And with this topic, I was like, oh, this is kind of a fun topic, and everyone kind of has their own little idea. I decided to reach out to a couple people on Twitter to see what theirs would be, okay? And the first one is, they go by MaxPass, and they're at MaxPass 2012. And they're another military family. They're local down in Florida. Right. So I was kind of curious what they would do. And they also would go do like a 2-week trip in the cabins at Fort Wilderness. Which if you haven't ever seen them, do yourself a favor. YouTube it. Go through a tour of them. They are fantastic. Actually, I will tell you, go watch Paging Mr. Morrow, because he's just giddy going through it, showing the rooms, and it's pretty fantastic.
We've watched other tours of him. We just watched Nate's, and we loved it.
Right.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Right. So they would go down there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And invite their extended family. They want to go ahead and do a VIP tour in each park with their extended family. Like, that way they can get everybody.
I guess that would be nice as far as, like, when you're there with a big group, being able to accommodate that big group onto things.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing they've thrown in here that I didn't even think about, and I don't even know if it's possible, but he would try to rent out the Cinderella suite in the castle for his mom and girls. So I don't know if that's for his actual mom, for his wife and girls, but trying to rent that out one night, which, if you can, with that kind of money, I mean, I guess you can.
You probably, and especially the way you're going to be dropping some money there, I'm sure there's probably a.
Right. You can probably work it out.
Even if you can't stay, there's probably a way to at least go tour it.
Right. And then.
Well, because wasn't that one of the 50th anniversary VIP tour things?
I'm not for sure. I don't know if it was for the 50th.
Well, because there was the separate VIP tour that was 50th.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they're still doing that one or not, but they were, and I thought maybe it had a.
Yeah, I don't remember I don't remember seeing anything about going up there right now. They were kind of like us. They kind of got off the whole trip part of like, oh, these are some of the other things we do. And one of the things that they would do, they consider Shades of Green their home resort.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Shades of Green is, it's a resort for active duty, retired, 100% disabled veterans. It's a 10-minute walk to ticket and transportation and poly, but you have to be one of those like military categories, to go and stay there.
Yeah.
And they have resorts. They have a resort there. They got a resort in Hawaii. I think there's like 4 of them all together, and it's a big network. But they would donate to that network to help make sure that those resorts are staying up and going, so military families still have a good place to go. Yeah, that is a good one. I didn't think about that one. And then they would also try and figure out a way to like donate money, or making sure like a big dinner for cast members, or doing something for cast members. Yeah. And then our other one,
I would be like, I'd want another one of those, like, so here lately they've had the cast member previews where you can like come and watch, like they got to watch the fireworks show first, and they basically like rented out Magic Kingdom for them. I mean, like basically like, things like that. Like I would be like, how much is that?
Right.
How much is a night like that for them?
Right. Like one of the things that just hit me, I would like to do, and I'm like, that would be really awesome, is they got the firework cruises, and there's some of those boats that are big that hold quite a few people. Oh, I would love to rent out that boat and just start grabbing people. Hey, you want to go on the fireworks cruise?
Yeah.
It's paid.
Just all day.
Yeah.
You're
coming with me.
You got to be here at this time. And
yep, we're going on a fireworks cruise. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Even if it's renting out like the fleet of boats, and just filling them up, going out. That'd be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then our other one is, so this guy has a YouTube channel, and he and I talk quite a bit back and forth on here. It's King Daka, and you can find him at King Daka 92, or he's also on Instagram at King Daka _92, and then King Daka on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. If you've never seen this guy, character meet and greets is kind of his thing. He loves them. That's his favorite thing. They're a lot of fun. He does it really, really well. Good dude. Give him a follow. But what he would do is kind of like what we said in the beginning. He wants to go and hit every Disney park with his family in the world. And spending like 3 or 4 days or a little bit more at some of them if he got to, I'd imagine. And kind of going around. And he's like me, kind of asked him, okay, well, what's your number one park you want to go to?
Yeah.
And it's Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna let the two of you go hang out in Tokyo and do it. Like,
hopefully he's listening to this and he heard you, and we're gonna go hit up Tokyo. And we might have to wait for the construction to be done because they got a big project going on over there right now. Like they're big Fantasyland where they're adding like.
Is it going to be done next year or 25?
I'm not for sure. I'd have to look and see.
I know it's delayed. You know, like COVID, everything.
Right.
Like
but it looks fantastic. They got like a Frozen Land and Tangled. Like it looks pretty awesome. And that park, Tokyo Disney, is supposed to be fabulous to begin with. Yeah. And like the cost of do things in the parks, like food and that kind of stuff, are lower than what they are here.
Oh yeah.
So that's top of my list. And it seems to be top of his list too. And then I said, well, okay, well, what about a hotel? And he wants to stay in the Disneyland Hotel in Paris.
Yeah, and that's where I would want to stay in Paris too.
Yeah, I think even if I going in Tokyo, like they have hotels that are right there, it's overlooking the park. Mm-hmm. And I think all of these, like, that's the way it would be. Like, I want something that's going to overlook the park. Like, you can't necessarily get that real well at Disney World, minus maybe Contemporary.
Contemporary has a good view.
But I don't want to stay at Contemporary. And Bay Lake needs to be updated.
Yeah.
So, that's not on my list. But that was 2 people we talked to on Twitter. So, please interact with us on Twitter and Instagram. Salute to the ears on both of them. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say, find your joy.
Have a magical and wealthy week.